Hi, this is Jeannie, and today I'm going to make some baked apples. If you notice, my apron has Trendy Tree, and if you notice that when I post my videos, they're on the Trendy Tree channel. That's because my name is Jeannie Pence, and I started Trendy Tree many years ago, and I'm retired. Carrie and David now own the business and are operating it, but the Trendy Tree channel was a YouTube channel was one that I started many years ago, so I go ahead and post my videos there. So if it's confusing to you when you see my personal videos on Trendy Tree, that's why. We have a lot of followers there, and they've been very kind to watch my cooking videos and that kind of thing, so I appreciate that. So you'll see me posting lots of times using Trendy Tree products, of course, and post to the Trendy Tree YouTube channel, but I still have the blog on Trendy Tree, and I will still be blogging for Carrie on that, doing some crafts, but I also have my personal blog now. It's called JeanniePence.com, and I hope that you'll follow me there. Today, I'm going to make some baked apples. Now, baked apples are nothing new. I grew up, my mom made baked apples in the oven, all the time, and they were usually apple, brown sugar, and butter. That was it, and that's great. They were good. But I have been watching Miss Brenda Gant. She's from Alabama, and if you have not watched any of her cooking shows, you need to watch. She's just a pleasure to watch. On Facebook, it is cooking. Excuse me, Cooking with Brenda Gant, and that's G-A-N-T-T. And I think her YouTube channel is the same. I've just been watching her on Facebook, but she's an elderly lady. Well, she's probably about my age, but anyway, she's from Alabama, and she does a lot of Southern cooking, and she just does such a great job, and it's just, it's just a pleasure to watch. So anyway, she made these baked apples the other day, and she did them a little different. She added bacon to them, bacon and cheese, and I thought, well, they sounded so good, and they looked so good. I thought, well, I've got to try that. So this inspiration has come from Miss Brenda Gant from Alabama on her baked apples. So I'm going to do it a little bit different. I'm going to do mine in the air fryer outside. I just thought, it might make a mess in my oven. I don't know. And I thought, well, if it makes a mess, it'll be easier to clean up the air fryer than it is the whole oven. So I have fixed my pan to do the air fryer outside, and Terry's got it heating up right now. So the first thing I'm going to do is slice my apples, and I've washed these. Brenda had used Honeycrisp apples in hers. Hold on, that's my sister calling. Okay, I'm back. That was my older sister. She's in a nursing home rehab facility in another state, and she's deaf. And she calls me. She calls me on FaceTime. So we FaceTime chat every day because she has to read my lips. So I'm so proud that the restrictions on the masking and all that is beginning to lift, because you cannot imagine how difficult this has been for her to be in a facility where you couldn't have visitors, and the staff and everybody was wearing masks. And so she depends almost totally on lip reading. So it's just been a really, really difficult time. So we got her an iPad, and she calls me on Messenger or FaceTime every day, and we do close up, and she understands. She reads lips very well. So okay, so we get back to the apples. I think what I was saying was that Brenda had used Honeycrisp. They didn't have Honeycrisp at the grocery store when I stopped by there. These are Fuji. So I think as long as you stick to any kind of crisp apple like a Fuji, I would not try to make these out of Really Delicious because they just get too soft, or Granny Smith. So anyway, and I'm not just trying to do things different from what she did. I've just kind of taken hers and just changing it a little bit. So the first thing I'm going to do is slice my apples. Now, this is just a plastic cutting board that I have. This is a cutting board, but Carrie gave me this for Christmas, and I'm saving it. Do y'all do that? This is like, this is it's a cutting board, but I use it for decoration more than I want to use it for cutting. So this is my old cutting board. So instead of cutting my apples halfway like that, I'm gonna try cutting them this way, crossways. I don't know that it will matter one bit, but that's what I thought I would do. And I don't have a paring knife. I got this little bitty knife that I can use. Let me get a paper towel to get that core out. I want to get the core out, but I don't want to go all the way through to the bottom. So I'm just gonna try that. Hollow that out. You need to kind of hollow that out so you'll have a place to put your butter and your brown sugar too. Okay, so that's gonna work. I tell you what, let me go ahead and slice. I have 4 apples, so let me go ahead and slice those and core them, and then I'll come back. There's no need in you watching me do that. Okay, I've got my apples sliced, and I did them crossways like that and cored them. And of course, I got busy and stepped away for a few minutes, and they're kind of, apples, as soon as you cut them, they'll kind of start turning dark. And I was going to tell you what I usually use when I do like a fruit tray and I slice apples or pears or anything. I use this Ball Fruit Fresh. You could just put a tablespoon in some water and then just dip your apple slices in there and bananas, and it'll keep them from turning color. So that was just a tip. I'm not going to use it on these apples because I'm baking them anyway, so they're going to turn, they're going to turn color. Okay, so the new thing that Brenda did that I had never heard of before was put bacon on the apples. And so I had my husband, he cooked breakfast. Well, he cooks breakfast every morning, but he was cooking bacon, and I said, well, don't use all the bacon because I'm going to need some for the apples. And he said, okay. Well, he left me 3 slices, so that's what I have. So I'm going to cut those in half, and we're gonna roll them in the brown sugar. But first, let me go ahead and put the brown sugar on my apples. I tell you what, let me transfer these apples to my old cutting board, and that way I don't mess up my good one. Sorry. All right, so we got brown sugar, and we're gonna spoon some brown sugar into each center. A good spoonful. So I've got, you just can't have too much brown sugar, so I'm gonna make sure I've got plenty on each one. Okay, and then I'm going to add a little bit of cinnamon. Now this is just ground cinnamon. This is ground Saigon cinnamon. And I really never have looked up exactly what Saigon cinnamon means. I just know that my sister swore by it. My sister died a few years ago. And this is one of the last things that we bought when we went shopping together. And it was kind of funny because she bought the cinnamon. We were in my vehicle. She bought the cinnamon and I had something else. I thought we got it at Home Goods. And anyway, when we got home, we couldn't find her cinnamon anywhere. And then after I got home and I'm getting my things out of the back seat, there was her cinnamon. It had rolled out, it was in the floorboard. So I called her and I told her, I said, I've got your cinnamon. And she accused me of doing that on purpose. I never gave her cinnamon back. So this is that jar. Okay, so we're gonna take some butter and we're gonna put about a tablespoon of butter on each apple slice. And this is butter, not margarine. Now, I never really was big on using butter instead of margarine. I used to use margarine all the time, but of course at Carrie and David's house, David does most of the cooking, and he always uses butter. So we sort of got to using butter too, so that's all we use now. But I'm putting just a pat of butter on each one. And then I'm going to sprinkle some of the Saigon cinnamon. I guess I could have put this in my pan and it might have been less mess. Why don't I do that? Okay. You're gonna fit in there okay. Okay, so I've got eight apples and I've only got 6 slices of bacon. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut, whoops, sorry. One of them, a couple of them just won't have as much bacon on them as the other, but we'll make it do. Okay, so got my brown sugar, and we're gonna dip the bacon in the brown sugar. Got lots of brown sugar on this, and just kind of drape that over the top. Now David, he makes brown sugar, or I don't know if it's maple syrup brown sugar, but he does bacon, especially, he always cooks breakfast on Christmas morning, and he always has a bacon that's been cooked in the oven, and it's so good, comes out so crisp, and got that brown sugar or maple syrup on it. I don't know which one he uses, but I'm just gonna, you want the bacon as it's cooked, you want it to be crisp, so I'm just kind of doing a single layer, just rolling it in brown sugar. And I don't know if Brenda used regular size bacon or thick sliced, I'm not sure, but I'm just having to use what I've got. We'll see how it turns out. And she also put cheese on hers. Now, and I'm gonna do that, but I was thinking that I would wait till they get done or almost done, and then put the shredded cheddar cheese on it last. We'll see. I'm kind of anxious to see how bacon and apple is going to taste. I've never had that, so. You know, a lot of people like bacon on anything. Now, I'm not that way. You know, to me, bacon is still, you know, a breakfast food. I don't want bacon on my hamburger. I like it on baked potato. And I think I'm shorting myself here a little bit. But you know, like bacon flavored ice cream or something like that, that is not for me. That is not the right way to eat bacon. I'm just about to use up my brown sugar, but I've got more over there. I need it. This last one is just going to get a sliver of bacon. It's not going to get much. Let me wash my hands. So there we have it. Doesn't that, I think it'll be good. I hope so. I'm gonna put it in the air fryer. I told Terry to turn it on about 350. I don't know how long it'll take. I don't know if 350 is hot enough. It may need to go up to 400. This is just kind of an experiment. So we'll put it on there and I'll let you know. I'll pay attention to how much time it took and I'll put that in the blog post, okay? I'll be back. Okay, the bacon is done and the apples are just about done. So now I'm just gonna take and put some sharp cheddar cheese on each one. And we'll let that cook just a few minutes longer. They really only cooked about 20 minutes so far. But I'm gonna try to let them cook another 10 minutes just to make sure that the apples are really nice and tender. They smell so good. Okay, we'll close the lid on that. I've turned the heat down to like 300 and see how that works. Okay? Okay, y'all, these are done. I mean, they are done. And the apples are tender. Whoops. Real tender. Okay, I'm just gonna let them sit there and cool just a little bit and then I'll take them up. Okay, I let them cool just a little bit before I took them out of the air fryer and I brought them in the house and I'm fixing to take them out of the pan. Now there's juice that's cooked out of the apples. Of course it's got some bacon grease in it too, but there's some brown sugar cooked in that. So I had to fight my husband off. He already, he had him a saucer and a fork, was fixing to get him one out of the air fryer before I could hardly turn it off. So I got to get him one out so he can eat. So I'll show you the finished result.